Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something that feels really timely, the connection between, well, the air we breathe and how we feel mentally.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We're looking at a specific study today, published in Environmental Science and Ecotechnology.
Right, and it tackles this link between long-term air pollution exposure and depression.
It does. The headline finding is pretty stark. A strong association was found. Basically, the longer you breathe polluted air, the higher your risk of depression seems to be.
Okay, so who did this research and, how did they figure this out?
Good question. It was researchers from Harvard Medical University and also Cranfield University who looked at a huge amount of data, over 12,000 people involved in the China Health and Retirement Longitudinal Study, or Charles.
12,000, wow. So a solid sample size. And what specific pollutants are we talking about here? Was there one main culprit?
Well, they looked at a few, but sulfur dioxide, Eros, really stood out. This study identified it as the most influential pollutant linked to increased depression risk.
Sulfur dioxide.
Okay. Yeah. But it wasn't just ARO. They also found significant links with fine particulate matter, that's the PM2.5 stuff, tiny particles, and also carbon monoxide, COO.
PM 2.5 and a CO. So multiple pollutants involved.
Exactly. And interestingly, the risk wasn't just additive, it seemed compounded.
What do you mean compounded?
Well, the study found that the risk of depression is actually higher when people are exposed to a mix, like a combination of these pollutants, compared to just one on its own. It's like a synergistic negative effect.
So the cocktail is worse than any single ingredient. That makes sense, unfortunately.
It does.
But why? Did the study offer any clues about the mechanism? Like, how does breathing ARO or PM 2.5 actually lead to feeling depressed?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The study suggests it might involve cognitive and physical impairments.
Okay, so the pollution maybe damages the body or brain in ways that then affect mood.
That seems to be the thinking. You know, if air pollution is impacting your physical health, maybe causing inflammation or directly affecting brain function, that could easily spill over into mental well-being, leading to depressive symptoms.
Right. It connects the dots between physical harm and mental harm.
Precisely. And it underlines why this research is pretty significant.
So the big takeaway here is we need to think about air quality management differently.
Absolutely. This study really calls for what they term integrated air quality management. It's pushing us to see clean air not just as crucial for, say, preventing asthma or lung disease, but also vital for protecting mental health.
Protecting physical and mental well-being. It's holistic.
Exactly. So tackling pollutants like sulfur dioxide isn't just an environmental issue. The study frames it as a mental health intervention, too.
And this has implications far beyond just the study location in China, right? I mean, air pollution is a global problem.
Oh, absolutely. This adds another layer to the urgency of tackling air pollution in cities worldwide. It highlights this intersection of environmental justice and mental health equity, especially because often vulnerable populations bear the brunt of both pollution exposure and mental health challenges.
Okay, so summing this up for everyone listening, this deep dive, based on that Environmental Science and Ecotechnology study, really hammers home that long-term exposure to air pollution, particularly things like sulfur dioxide, but also PM 2.5 and CO is linked to a significantly higher risk of depression.
Yeah, that's the core finding. It emphasizes this really intricate link between the environment we live in and our internal psychological state. We can't really separate them.
It definitely makes you think. So considering this evidence, what are the most impactful steps, that individuals and communities can take to push for cleaner air? And how much does just being aware of these risks play a role in maybe protecting our own mental well-being?
That's the critical question moving forward, isn't it? How do we translate this knowledge into action, both personally and collectively?
Definitely something to ponder. Thanks for walking through this research with us today.
My pleasure. Important stuff.